Hello, LinkedIn Live, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, or whatever they're calling their live streaming platform there these days. My name is Frank Lavinia, and today is High Impact Tuesdays. You can catch me at the following URLs: franksworld.com, datadriven.tv, and of course, Impact Quantum. So had an interesting experience just now talking to a published author. Let me see if I can find there we go. I will share that on my screen. Actually interviewed this gentleman for Data Driven, Alex Castro, interesting guy. And I think his book, I haven't read it yet. So full disclosure, I haven't read it yet. I actually just picked it up. But it's basically measuring what counts in a project. Basically making sure that your metrics line up with what you're actually trying to accomplish. And I don't want to spoil the interview, but it was really good. It's hard to get excited about project management type stuff, data podcast, but this guy takes a very data-driven approach to this whole process. So, it'll be out next week, but normally we don't talk about like our shows before we launch them, but I would encourage you to pick this up. It's only it's under $5. So $5.15 with tax. Highly recommend it based on the conversation and what he said. So with that, let me close that out. Hopefully you're having a good day. The reason why I call it High Impact Tuesdays is because Monday is the day that kind of punches you in the face. Tuesday is the day you get up and you have the opportunity to stand back up and kind of reclaim your day, as it were. So a lot of interesting things going on. Last week, I had hoped to live stream. I was actually at a conference last week. Yes, and honest to God, in person, shake people's hands type conference. Had to wear a mask most of the day. I was going to live stream, but we were just so busy. I was working the Coverse booth at the Association of the U.S. Army conference. It felt good to get back out and to actually talk with customers. It's been last time I worked a booth was December 2019. Last time I went to an in-person conference was February of 2020. So I think it's high time that things sort of kind of maybe go back to normal. And then by the time I got home, it was in downtown DC. It was just so exhausting. And then last week, I had to do literally a field test for a Coverse data platform. So more on that at some point in the future. But hopefully things are going well for you. It's October. We are more than halfway through October. And if you've been listening to the live stream and or the blog or Data Driven, you know that my New Year's is November 1st. So for me, 2021 is almost over. And there's a long story about that. If there's enough interest in the comments, I will explain that, why I switched New Year's to November 1st. But just want to let you know that I do plan on doing a lot more live streaming again. Things have kind of calmed down. Next week, I'm actually at a conference. Maybe I'll be able to do some live streams. I'll be driving up there. So we'll see how that goes. And let's see what else. Hopefully things are going well. Working on launching something soon. Hopefully I will have something to talk about. This project Ringgate, Andy and I keep talking about. And a couple of things I did want to point out. Where is it? So I got a live stream notification that, let's see, franksworld.com. So let me share my tab. There we go. So you probably have noticed that my blog posts have gone up considerably, even from my already kind of ridiculously high levels. So one thing I want to point out is that all of this is really facilitate that. I have a pretty good history of having blog posts, more than 100 blog posts per month, with the exception of May 2021. May was kind of a chaos month. More on that in a future live stream. But I use a system that I wrote called Dingo, which I'm thinking about making it more widely available. Ultimately, my goal is right now it's a command line tool. No frills UI, no frills UX. I'm thinking about converting it to a software as a service model. If you're a blogger and you want to take a closer look at this, I have one test user now. Actually, it's two test users now, which reminds me, I need to collect some feedback. Dingo rocks. Yes, thank you, Andy. One of the test users. Yeah, so Dingo is something that I want to, it's really enabled me to get a lot more podcasts out. I think, what was the final number, Andy, for last month in terms of blog posts and whatnot between Impact Quantum and Frank's World? Was it 220 something blog posts or something like that? Dingo is something that I've done, and that I've done. Yeah, it was over 200. Yes, it was a lot. Because I think Frank's World alone was, what was that? There's the number, 151, and I think I had about 50 some odd here. And so if you don't know, I launched a second blog. It's also the name of the podcast, Impact Quantum. We had a great show. But a lot of this content system that I've built was originally built around, well, first it was a web browser. It was a browser-based tool that I had built, kind of the foundations of it back when I was doing DC Tech Minute, which was a daily kind of 1 minute or so show focusing on DC technology type stuff. I do miss the startup world, the DC tech community world. Apparently this week there's actually, where is it? Startup Week DC is this week. Can't find the news article now, but I remember used to being involved with that and stuff like that. So who knows? Maybe I'll get back into that space. But that would be an interesting site for a podcast, or a subject for a podcast. Anyway, enough with the spoilers. So Dingo will do this. Oh. Oh no, one of our podcast guests just canceled. So anyway, sorry about that. Dude, I have no rails of thought. Like, it always derails. It's chaos. Chaos theory, man. The order is an emergent property of chaos. That's pretty much describes describes a lot of things in Frank's world. Well, good, you're laughing. So ultimately, and Andy, if you want to join a live stream, I'll send you the link. Let's see, can I do that? But it was so Dingo is a system that I built. It's command line. I wonder, could I demonstrate Dingo here? All right. Actually, oh, there he is. Hey, Andy, how's it going?
Hey, Frank.
How are you? Not seeing your camera yet, but I was just on a call with you, so
I have to click that button.
Oh,
and then you can see it.
Cool. So how's it going? I just talked to you.
It's going well. Yeah, we just finished up a recording with a data-driven podcast guest. It was an interesting dynamic, I think, just kind of overall for this particular recording. It's not unusual for us to get guests that just come out of the gate swinging. You know, they're just right on top of everything. And no disrespect to this guest at all. That after we got to the end, the flow makes perfect sense. But it's one of those shows that doesn't do that. I mean, it did. Frank and I were kind of looking at each other, going, when's this going to pick up? And it took I'd say a few minutes. It's probably
I would say if
assessment.
you're listening to it, if you're a loyal listener and you're listening to it, give it 5 minutes. You
at least. Yeah,
because it's kind of it's like The Expanse, right? The Expanse, the first season is like, I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but I mean, it's kind of like it takes about 6 episodes for something to happen. Or Squid Game,
didn't read the books,
a little more, right?
Yeah, right.
Like Squid Game, like the first half hour Squid Game is like, well, this guy just shut up.
Oh, I was into the second episode, going, I think I might be done.
Right. I don't know. Like for me, it was. I don't want to spoil it, but like when they played the first game, I'm like, I was hooked. But like. And I rewatched the first episode again. I'm like, my God, this guy. I switched it to Korean, but with English subtitles, thinking maybe the actor's voice was less annoying. It was a little less annoying, but still, it was like. So I was like, you know what? Let me jump ahead. And I will say, I'm not flexing, but watching it in a 4K is like, holy crap! Like, it's a different. Like, it's like really. I don't know. It. Squid Game is very well, I think, written.
Totally agree with that.
But so sometimes when you're writing a story or anything, you kind of need that kind of the world building thing to find out like why is this guy in such a bad place in his life, and kind of like you just see like, and it's just painful to watch. It's like, oh my God. But then that kind of, I don't want to spoil it, but it kind of it kind of all comes back to you later, I think. And there's definitely some surprises in there. You watch the second time around, it's like, oh yeah, they're queuing that up. I didn't see it the first time.
The final episode was astounding.
Yes.
It really tied everything together nicely. It left it in a good spot. It finished the story. And I thought it was great. The episode that we're talking about, again, we say this a lot, but it's true. I think for all of our guests so far, we haven't had a bad guest yet. And this is one of those shows where it's just super cool. I learned stuff. I actually was not aware of what he was speaking about. And as he was describing it, this thing that happens in software development projects, data warehouse projects, as he was describing it, I started thinking over some of the projects that went really well and some that didn't go as well. And I mean, everything he talked about on that show is for the projects that didn't go as well. Those he was talking about why.
Right.
And I couldn't figure it out.
Right. Right. That's the thing. Cause it's like, not all projects are successful and you'll never get 100%, but there's definitely things that, that could have gone better, and when he was describing kind of how metrics and stuff like that work, I was like, brought me back to the launch of Windows 8 and kind of how that was handled. And let's just say that was not, I got a ding on my phone. No, it's something else. But
gotcha.
I mean, I would listen to it. And if the first 5 minutes seem a little sluggish, just sit through it. It's like the first 20, 30 minutes of Squid Game. It'll be worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's fantastic. In fact, that's the first podcast I'm aware of where, as Frank and I were both listening to it at different times, and I would say 20 to 25 minutes in, we both went and bought the audiobook in the middle of the podcast.
Right.
You don't see it. We mentioned it, though. But yeah, it's very good. The audiobook's a heck of a deal. It's under $5.
Yeah. And with tax, it's like $5.15. So
Yep. So yeah, it was great podcast, great recording. And I was a little worried, Frank. I was thinking, in the first couple of minutes, I was thinking, all right, let's see where this goes. And oh my gosh, it took off.
It
So
did. It did. It was definitely, I think, one of our better shows for sure.
yep. And we did
So
have another recording scheduled for about 15 minutes from now, but the good doctor is in a very bad place right now. I guess he's in India.
he's in India. I forget the exact
Yeah,
name of the city, but apparently there's floods. So
yeah.
we wish him well.
Yes,
And
flooding, and we're thinking
um,
about you.
our thoughts and prayers go out to everyone who are dealing with
Yeah,
that. Um, but I was gonna, since you're here,
yeah.
and
You were
I'm,
going to pop open Dingo.
I was gonna pop open Dingo. Um, so let me do that because I kind of sort of promised that, and then I will. Let me get that going.
You know, I
So
haven't used it yet, Frank. You've talked to me about it, but I haven't actually used it yet.
you're
So
the one
this
that's
may be
losing
an
out, man.
opportunity for me to use it. How about that?
There you go. Oh, did you want to share it, or
I'm fine. You want to send me the link? I will.
if you don't have? Let's see. In the interest of time, I'll just fire up Dingo.
Okay, I was going to say I may not have everything set up that I need yet.
Dingo. So this is something I want to convert to kind of a web-based thing, because if you follow franksworld.com, you'll see that there was a definite lull in posts last week that I was able to catch up. So let me fire off Dingo.
It's because Frank is magic.
Frank is magic.
That's how he catches up. Yeah, he's an auto magic.
Automagic. Automation can be magic. All right, so here's a video that I saw. So what I'll do is I will share my screen. And if you are carefully watching Frank's World, let's see, turn that off. Let's share another app. Let's see, how does this work? Oh, there we go.
Ooh, I like it.
So this is Dingo. It comes from one of my dogs was like a dingo, and I needed a name for the repo. It's basically it. Like I was going to come with some catchy name or do kind of what we did with naming after neighborhoods in New York, but I was like, Dingo, because the dog was next to me on the couch when I was creating the repo. All right, so type in Dingo. Again, no frills UI so far. This will be some kind of web-based service. What I can do is I say FW is what I have keyed for Frank's World, right? And then I'll paste a URL. So this is a YouTube video, and you'll notice that a lot of the posts on Frank's World are focused on YouTube. So what will happen now is I enter this, and it will upload. It'll get all the metadata for it, and I should have used the other website because that's a little faster. All right, let me turn off the overlay.
I've noticed things slow down when I'm presenting. Streaming
kind of does. New post ID. Okay, so once that new post ID is done, I need to clean up some of the way it handles the asynchronous calls because it's a little bit kludgy. But I wrote it in my month off, so But even in this kludgy state, it's still pretty cool. So I'm gonna stop sharing that, and I will fire up this browser window. All right, and then it's actually taking longer to queue up the demo than it does to do the work. All right, so this is Frank's World, and if you notice the blog post here, I mean, I'm at 90 posts, right? And at some point, the live stream we're doing now will actually automatically get posted here, which is
hello, future us.
Hello, future us. So this is a a video I want to kind of talk about because I've been in part of my day job at Covers. I've been doing a lot more web development, because I'm responsible for the demos that we provide. So, and it's also something that, you know, I have a history of UX design. I will never write another line of XAML though, just on principle. So let me go to behind the scenes and kind of show you what Dingo did.
What did Dingo do? That should be a meme.
That's right. I like it. All right. So this is,
We can't use the cat picture though. That's just sacrilegious.
yes. Oh yeah, because it's a dingo. All right, here we go. So if you look at the content here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dingo basically, with that command line tool, pulled all that information over from YouTube and using the API and basically dumped everything in here.
Nice.
So like I have the content, and what I'll do is I'll rework it and stuff like that. So I can actually get a blog post out pretty quickly if it's based on a YouTube video. Now I have another tool that I've used before. I think I've even demoed before, or pull a similar thing on Channel 9. So if you're not familiar with Channel 9, oh, puppy, speaking of dogs, I can actually give this URL and it will go out and scrape all this relevant material and prepare it as a blog post too.
That is so cool.
Yeah. So I am still working on Dingo, but Dingo, I want to make it available so it'll be kind of like a website that you can call.
Nice.
But that's kind
Frank
of
as a service.
Frank as a service. But I want to. Oops. I need to fix that bug. It only happens when I demo it. There we go. I think it's time, Andy, to announce what we've called Project Ringgate.
Yep.
It's ready. It's on all but one platform, which reminds me I need to bust their chops today. This is the data channel. Andy and I have been working on this kind of off and on for almost a year.
Yeah.
But it's the idea kind of came to me last Thanksgiving, just like the show did at one point, would be to make a place where content technologists, technology people can create kind of instructional material and do it in a way that I think rewards them, right? For that effort. Because if the YouTube algorithm giveth and it taketh away. I think we can get very coherent kind of stories. There was the background to this was actually a source of frustration, to be honest, was when I was at the MTC, we had the MTC organization had basically given us all subscriptions to a service. And if you don't know anything about the MTC, they are kind of like the best of the best of technology architects in the field, right? Regardless whether it's data, whether it's, whatever the technology. These are, like the Navy SEALs, like we call ourselves the Navy SEALs, right? And this one person, some of us had asked, well, how do you create a course here? And then the answer came across as such, well, we're very selective about who we choose. I'm like, but this is exactly the type of people that you choose. And that kind of elitist attitude kind of, I don't know, kind of was like a splinter in my foot, like, splinter in my finger. And I was like, there needs to be a place where it's much more approachable, right?
Yes.
From both the terms of cost, from the terms of creating content for a platform like that. And that ultimately kind of planted the seed that ultimately became the data channel when kind of the technology come along. And yeah, I mean, you're right. This could be YouTube, but YouTube has a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? Baggage.
Overhead
Baggage. You're not going to make any, so you have to have 1,000 subscribers before you start seeing any type of monetization. The monetization can be pulled from you at any minute if someone makes a copyright claim, even if that is relevant or not. We actually had that because I subscribe to a service where I get music and things like that, and in a submission to one of the stores, they kind of flagged it. So I wanted to create a place for the data community to work with us. And Andy and I are both very prolific in terms of creating content, for good or for bad. But ultimately, if you take a look at the free sample that we provided, this is just us coming together and building stuff. And, my video FX skills and Andy's prolific ability to write. So we actually have a number of this was one of my favorite things to do because we created this notion of, just like you had inside the actor studio with, I forget his name. I wanted to create like a story behind the book. Like, what motivated you to write the book, right? And this is kind of it's not meant to compete with the book, but it's meant to complement the book. So basically the first part is, me kind of talking to you, which is very meta given that we're all on the screen now. But kind of the story, like what motivates you to write the book? Because writing a book is not a trivial act. And I also think it's important to kind of have it where the author can kind of present, their technology demos in a way that they intended. And having written a book myself, and, some of the feedback was the demos made no sense. Well, I had a very specific kind of context for that. Some people got it, some people didn't, but just being able to get out there and tell my story and like, this is what I meant to do, this is what I meant to say.
Right.
I think is very powerful. And that's basically what we did. In this one, we went, because it's kind of like, behind the book, right? And we've reached out to a couple of publishers and, hopefully we'll have more to say about that soon. But, the whole purpose of this, and we called this Ringgate because, we wanted to represent the Belta Loda, as so if you're not familiar with the story of the books, there's kind of these three factions. You have Mars and Earth kind of fighting, but there's this third faction of the people who are actually out in the field doing stuff, not at these, headquarters. They're actually doing stuff, and they're actually the ones who are very much from the front line. So that's kind of the vision that we had for this. This would be actual practitioners, people who do this every day, kind of explaining and sharing their knowledge. That's kind of it. We, if you can download this on iPhone, iPad, Apple TV. I don't have one of those. I don't have an Apple TV, but I do have a Roku and a Fire.
I was going to ask, which one are we not on yet? There's one that's just taking its time.
Yeah, we're going back and forth with their store.
Yeah.
And
it'll get there.
It'll get there. And we have a coupon code, which I need to pull up. Bear with me.
You can save money.
You can save money. And I think it's launch $4.97 is the coupon code, which I probably should.
We have to double. I guess we'll double check that.
Let's see. Coupon codes. Yes, launch $4.97. You get it for $4.99, 7 months forever, basically. Our stated price is for $15 a month. We basically wanted to be kind of like the big ones. I'm thinking Pluralsight, I'm thinking LinkedIn. But we want to make it much more affordable, much more approachable. If you're interested in creating content for it, reach out. We are working on figuring out what a revenue share would look like. But we really wanted to kind of reimagine the idea of what a training site would be. We're not going to have these large monolithic courses for the most part. There might be some cases where we want to do that, but we want to do these quick kind of things where, if you can sit on your couch and binge Netflix. I mean, I love Squid Game, but there's only 9 episodes of that, right? If you can do that, you can do something and learn. You can do something and learn as well. And I want to keep it kind of informative and entertaining, right? Educational, info. I don't know. You know what I mean? Kind of make it more fun and light than kind of these very serious ones.
Sure.
And I've noticed that other kind of providers, there's a course on Pluralsight about 5G, where it's definitely informative, but you can tell they had a lot more fun with it. It was don't want to spoil it, but they had a lot of fun with it. So that's kind of it. If you're a fan of the show, you'll definitely like it. And if you want to buy launch pricing for the year, it's Data Channel for life, the number 4 life. So let's see if I can on the fly make a graphic. How about that? And we are in your favorite app stores.
Yeah, that's a cool part, I think, was, showing. I have a Droid, and I was over on Google Play, and there it is. Boom.
Yep.
The Data Channel. We have an app.
We have multiple apps. We have
actually,
iOS.
yeah, that's true. We have an iOS app,
Roku, and we have Fire TV. And I think if you're on Fire TV, you're also on the tablets too. I need to check that. But ultimately, there's kind of the thing: $4.97 per month, forever, and Data Channel for life is $47 for the year. Right. So that's, our goal here is not monetization per se. Our goal is to monetize so we can come up with better content and kind of be something that's more community led and community driven than say LinkedIn Learning or Pluralsight or Zenva. Right.
Yep.
I think that's really where we want to live, because I think there's an opportunity there. And, we're going to have some things are going to be free. If you go to datachannel.tv, hopefully you won't get the forbidden error, but if you do, let me know. But you can definitely pull it up on your on your devices. And no, before anyone asks, there is no Windows Phone version or Silverlight. And we have a nice little trailer we put together. So I'm very proud of this. This has been kind of a culmination of a lot of work. Some new courses are going to be up there soon. We're just being experimental with it. We want to make a platform that is meant to augment the community, if that makes sense. So.
Yeah, it's been exciting thinking about it and talking about it. Some of the stuff that's on the books now but hasn't come out is I just keep getting more and more excited about it. The more we talk about it and think about it, in fact, the data estate is my favorite video on there.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, Frank did a fantastic job on that. And I think part of the reason that I like it so much, Frank, is it doesn't have me in it. I can't stand my own voice.
I do there is a cameo, as you saw, Robin Leach. So
I saw that. Yes. Very cool. So this is the thing Frank and I have been a little, I don't know, a little vague about, kind of intentionally, because part of it was we just didn't know until it actually started launching in the app stores if that was going to happen. There was a lot of moving parts to this. And
a lot more than I anticipated. We originally anticipated to launch in like February.
Yeah, at the latest.
At the latest. And then,
yeah, and here we are. And it was September, right? September when it started showing up, or was it early October?
Early October, yeah. And then it was really kind of at a point where I didn't want it to be like, well, I did share it with some folks, and they're like, but it's not on Android. And I was like,
right.
It will be on Android soon.
It is on Android. It's in the app store.
It is on Android now, but in late September, early October.
Android TV.
Android TV we're working on.
That's the last one. For now. But it's just it's an amazing opportunity. The content, as you can tell looking at this content that Frank developed here, this is not trivial, what he built. And this was a minority of the work. I mean, it was just a lot more to this, and we still got more work to do. But having it out there is a big, big incentive, and we kind of know it was a big confidence builder for me. It's like, okay, we can do this. Look, there it is.
Right. And for me, it's just cool. Like I have a Fire TV and I have a Roku. And just be holy crap, there's me. There's my app. Last time I built an app for an app store was Windows 8, and just not going to beat that dead horse. But ultimately, we are very, very proud of what we've done here. There's definitely some more stuff to do. I think that there's, when I watch something like Curiosity Stream, they have a lot of stuff on various different topics, but the ones that really excite me are the ones that talk about data and math and even quantum computing, but there's just not enough of them. And then rather than just complain about kind of the problem, I decided to solve it. And
let's go fix it.
Yeah, that's basically what this is.
This is, we're not fact checkers, we're fact changers.
That's right. We're fact makers. But it's pretty cool, and it's been an interesting experience. Most of the problems have been not about creating the content, oddly enough. It's been about kind of the framework for it. So hopefully now that part's done, we can start cranking out content at a pretty regular basis.
Yep.
So, and if you're a data-driven listener, we're gonna have another coupon code for you guys too. But and if you're not listening to the audio, you're probably like, there's a Roman legion soldier, the Taj Mahal, and Joan of Arc, and a tank. Like, what does this have to do with data? You have to listen to it. This is one of the free videos that we have. We're going to have a couple other series in the work. We're working with some publishers potentially to have some stuff. And we're also hoping to recruit kind of content creators and find a way that we can kind of work together and have a fair and reasonable monetization strategy.
Yep.
Because basically with something like YouTube, you can always come up with your own YouTube channel, but the problem with that is unless you started in 2011 or 2010, there are some people who have done that, but I don't think we're going to have an exclusive thing with people. We have to figure that out, but we're pretty reasonable. I think we're pretty reasonable.
I agree. We're pretty reasonable.
I mean, that could be.
We'll figure it out. We'll make sure that we cover the bases. But a lot of this is we're just learning as we go,
right?
And we'll see.
So there you go. So launch $497 will give you $497 per month forever, and then Data Channel for Life gives you $47 a year forever. That's basically it. We're not doing this to make money. We're doing this to enable a whole new platform for technology content creators. I mean, that's ultimately, I think that's our vision.
Yep.
There are probably easier ways to make money if we were just going after money.
True that.
But I also think that one of the things that I'm really passionate about is you and I both have said this. We said this on today's podcast, is that the best audiobooks are the ones where the author reads it.
Sure.
Because you get another perspective on the work, literally straight from the horse's mouth. So having kind of another way that an author can kind of promote their book, we're talking about, this is what I was thinking, this is the problem I wanted to solve. When I wrote my Silverlight book, there was just this whole notion of, how could you have, there was a debate about how useful is UX and how would that apply to line of business applications. So that was kind of my the real thing. Yes, it was about Silverlight, but it was really more about how do you take these better interface improvements and put them in a line of business applications where typically that's never really thought about. And I did say, when I wrote that book, I was wrong about Silverlight, but I was right about this, is that customers or your users of your applications, even your business applications, are also consumers of Twitter, Facebook, and all that. They're going to expect a certain amount of fit and finish and polish on a line of business application that they would expect from, just the general internet, right? So it's not just, so I can be right and I can also be wrong in how I'm right, if that makes sense.
It's awesome, Frank. You did a good job on the book. You're doing a good job on the data channel. This was Frank's idea, by the way. It's important to point that out. He's the one who sent me a bunch of links and a bunch of messages and emails and texts, and he said, "Hey, all of it boiled down to, hey, what if we did this?
Exactly.
What if
That
we
what if.
jumped kind of over?" Because he was right. YouTube's kind of saturated right now. We could definitely do something on Twitch. We are. This is on Twitch. If you're
Right.
not watching it on Twitch, it's there. And it's like, what if we jump to another place with this whole idea of education, video podcasts, video casts, what have you? And that was almost a year ago, Frank. You started that initial conversation. And so it was just, kind of just north of a tickle that Frank was having. But we do this often, where we have stream of consciousness type communications and stuff. And both of us come up with ideas, but I have to say Frank comes up with more. And
Oh, well, thank you.
we just, I don't know if you've heard of the book and the test called Strengthsfinders. I did that decades ago.
Was Clifton Strengthsfinder? Is that what it is?
I forget, but it's now part of Gallup.
Yes.
That I know, and they've renamed the book. There was actually a series of books. The first one was called First Break All the Rules, and the next one was called Now Discover Your Strengths. And that one kind of took off on a life of its own, and it became renamed and republished as StrengthsFinder. And it's about a 200-question quiz. And my number one strength was called Maximizer. And it means that I may not come up with the ideas. And I come up with a good idea about once a decade. I'm still on track for that. But my strength is taking an idea. And somebody says, hey, I've got this idea, and look, it solves this problem. And I'll look at it and go, gosh, if we do this and this and that, now we can solve this problem. And it's just seeing context and thinking in graphs. But, between us, Frank and I bounce that back and forth. I wouldn't be surprised if Maximizer isn't one of your top 5 strengths.
Probably. I've taken
as
it,
well.
I'm embarrassed to say I don't know what it is. But
the one everybody thought I was going to be on the team at the time, that didn't even show up in the top 5.
I'm afraid to ask.
I'm not going to answer.
That's funny. So we have right now, we just have kind of 2 or 3 or 4 series. We're definitely going to expand that. But
Yep. Working on content now. I actually recorded last week, Frank.
Cool.
I got to do the editing. I am learning more about video editing. Frank keeps offering to share with me because Frank's really good at this stuff. I don't know if you picked up on that. I am not. I don't have the eye for it. That's just it. I mean, the technology is not hard for me, but the art, I still can't color in the lines. So, but I got the, I won't state the actual brand name of it, but let's just call it the Premiere video editing tool. I've been using another one which did okay. That's it. And Frank's going to give me lessons to help me out with that. And I'm reading a lot. In fact, I got this book not long ago. It's an older book, but it's an interesting concept, and it sorts well with my kind of, I don't know, cowboy operation style. But it's called Shut Up and Shoot.
I've read that one. I
got this used. It looks great. And I've just been flipping through. There's some software. I haven't loaded the software yet. But
that's a great. And Anthony Q. Artis.
Yes.
He has a course on LinkedIn learning about video production stuff. It's really good.
Yep.
But that one's really good because, that I love that book.
This is the documentary guide. That's the other part. There's like a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a bunch of the series, but I felt the documentary would probably give me what I'm after, educational content stuff. And I've thumbed through it and already, picked up on a few things. So, that's what we're working on.
And I think
more of that.
Also, too, there's probably going to be a quantum show just about
Yeah.
worldwide data, because we had a
I
great conversation with Lynn last week.
Yes, and the more we get into into topics like this, I see more and more opportunity. And I hate to use this word, but I'm going to use it in the non-buzzwordy way. Okay, but I see a lot of synergy.
Yep.
I see a lot of overlap. I see positive spirals, whatever you want to call it. I just see between the podcasts and the streams and now the data channel, we've got a bunch of I don't know what the right components may be that we can begin now, like stacking them on top of each other, having them feed each other, and really looking forward to it.
Cool. So I'll pop up that discount code. You can sign up. All the options are. There's always a free trial. There's like a 6-day free trial. I forget.
Yeah, I forget. It depends on the platform too.
It does depend on the platform.
Different.
Yeah. And if you don't see an ability to enter a coupon code on your platform of choice, the browser can always get it, and you can get the credentials there. That is something we didn't build this platform from scratch, but we were using another platform which has its advantages. The advantage is that this took
we haven't run into
10 months. This took 10 months versus much longer. But yeah,
as I was going to say, we haven't yet encountered any disadvantages of doing this, but apparently there's this I'll say there's a market out there, but I may be exaggerating slightly for folks who can help with this. Frank again scored a contact with someone, and I happened to see this thing, and he said, "What if we did this?" And of course we didn't. I'll say I didn't know what I was doing. Frank may have known, but I didn't. When we
I actually came up with this when I was at the beach last Thanksgiving. Remember?
I do. Yeah.
I was like walking the dog, and I'd seen this. I'd seen something like this, and I was just staring into space with the dog, the dingo actually.
Gotcha.
And I was like, what if I did this? And I was also still kind of salty because the big provider gave that whole thing like, we're very selective. Like, it's kind of like, really? This is a group of people you probably want to pull from. So sometimes salt makes things better, right?
It does. Yes, it does.
So also Bailey, if you're familiar with our podcasts, Bailey will make an appearance here. That render is complete. So just a matter of figuring out where she's going to go, but she will be in there.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Awesome. Well, I don't see any questions, but if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments below on your platform of choice: LinkedIn, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, and I don't know, where else are we?
Twitch,
Twitter.
LinkedIn Live. Are we on LinkedIn Live?
Yes, we are.
Awesome. Yeah.
And cool. With that, I will end the show. Thank you very much, and I'll play some outro graphics.
Yeah, thanks for letting me participate, Frank.
No problem. I've been itching to formally announce this now that we're on all but one platform. Like, there's been some people have gotten beta, early alpha access to this, but
right,
getting it on all these platforms is a real pain because each one has their own fickle things about them. But we did it, and that's what matters.
We did.
All right, everyone, have a great day. Make sure you have a good impact today on High Impact Tuesday.